And happy Thursday. Yes, did you know that fear is the number one obstacle to success? That's what I teach. I teach you to flip the format on your fear of failure. And today we're going to talk about your format in regards to music. Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Orchard. I'm speaker, author, badass coach, and licensed psychotherapist, but I'm also a second generation radio broadcaster. And I wanted to talk to you today about music, because that's what I do on Throwback Thursday. We talk about music of our lives. Did you know music is the soundtrack of your life? And part of my badass program is to teach you how to get an instant attitude adjustment with your own badass soundtrack are not going to be the same songs that would appear on your badass soundtrack. We can agree to that, right? But I want to give you a little insight into some music today, and then an opportunity for you to participate in some really fun music discovery. And I'm going to share that in just a minute. You know, music has always been a part of my life. Hi, Sebastian. Hi, Toshi. Nice to see you guys. You know, I have a lot of memories that are surrounded by music, and I couldn't help it because my dad was in radio before I was ever born. So music has always been surrounding us, you know, plus my two of my brothers were pianists, musicians, and another brother was a drummer. So they were very musically inclined. I was influenced by all sorts of different genres as the youngest in my family and the only girl. You know, I tell these stories. It's like my brother Brad, as I was growing up, he was very much into like Bob Seger and Elton John. My brother Buck was very much into like Aerosmith and the Beatles and Toto and Kansas and Bad Company and those kinds of groups. My brother Scott, who when we became teenagers became a singer in a rock band, so he was very influenced by Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and Kiss. And me, I was the dancer in the family, so of course I was influenced by anything you could dance to. Probably most likely KC and the Sunshine Band was one of mine. And today I still dance. And you know, music was always played around our house. My mom loved her music. She primarily listened to a lot of gospel, but a lot of those pop tunes from, you know, the 50s and the 60s, because that was her era. And, you know, it's like my dad had bought this vintage, I think it was pretty vintage when we got it, a jukebox that we kept in the garage. And the garage was more of a play studio / office thing. In fact, some of the time growing up, it actually had an automation system for a radio station that we were getting ready to build. It was in the garage from the time I was 13, and the jukebox was in there. And I have vivid memories of playing songs on the jukebox and even witnessing my mom and dad dancing to some of the songs on the jukebox. So music has always been part of my life. So for today, for Throwback Thursday, I have something very special and unique for you. Music discovery can be so much fun, and it'll spark a lot of the neurochemicals in your brain. So this is an exercise that's actually going to cause you to feel good today. And so that's what I'm going to give you. So I have to backtrack just slightly with some memories, which is why I call this Throwback Thursday. I remember as a young girl growing up in Los Angeles. Now, remember, I said second generation radio broadcaster. My dad was working as an engineer for a radio station in Los Angeles before I was born. And at some point, I don't know how old I was, I just vividly remember this. And I even asked my dad about it recently, and he didn't recall the exact time frame either, but he did remember doing this, is that they used to do music tests. But of course, there was no online at the time. And so they would gather kids, I think it was kids because I went, they would gather kids at an auditorium in Los Angeles, and they would play samples of music, and you got to vote on them. And it was a music survey thing. And I remember going, and it was a lot of fun to be able to, I don't know, decide whether I liked a song or not. And if that was going to get played on the radio. And that was pretty much the whole point. It was a music test survey, fun event to go to. And I remember my dad dropping me off and going into the auditorium and sitting there, and we had these little buttons that we could push whether we liked a song or didn't like a song. So I have this same thing for you today. So here's this thing, is that on another social media platform, I am connected to a lot of radio broadcasters. And one of them is, he he calls himself the radio programming mastermind, and he is, and I feel very connected to him. His name is John Sebastian, and he is a radio programmer from the golden era of radio. And the connection is, first of all, when I reviewed his resume, I see that he started at a station called KPAM in Portland, Oregon. Well, strangely enough, so did my brother. That was his first radio job. My brother, Brad, that was before we built our radio stations. Brad was interested in being in radio even before we built our stations and started operating them. So his first radio job was also at KPAM in Portland, Oregon. And this is way back in the 70s. But also John Sebastian was a program director at KHJ, which is where my dad worked. And so he and my dad crossed paths and worked together. So when John started talking about this new format that he is getting ready to launch and is promoting, I was very intrigued by it because it's specifically for the baby boomers, and I loved it. And of course, because I use music in my program and in my speaking, obviously I'm following him. So he created a survey of some of the music to get the feel of how what kind of music you would want to hear. Now, yes, it is for the 55 plus demographic, but that's okay. The thing that I loved about taking this survey was that he's got music samples already packaged into it with the title of it. And it was so much fun. It was like an exercise in music discovery for me, because you just play a song. It's like, oh, I forgot about that one. Oh, yes, I love that one. But as a radio person who grew up in radio, a lot of the songs, yes, I was already tired of, because let's face it, most of the time I worked at a station and we played oldies. So those oldies are now even older oldies, and I'm burned out on them. But this was a really empowering survey. The reason why it was so empowering, because imagine you're listening to a song and you decide whether it's a great song, a good song, it's okay, you're tired of it, or it's not a good song. Now, it may not be as important for you to complete the survey as maybe it would be for John for you to complete the survey, because it's a lot of fun. That's why I wanted to share it with you. And so I did ask him permission if I could talk about his survey. And we had an email exchange last night, and I told him I wanted to just link the survey in my video, and I'll put it in the comments in a minute, because I wanted you to be able to do the survey, not for his purposes. I'm not trying to sell anything. I get absolutely no benefit from you participating in the survey. But here's what I do promise. I talk a lot about neuroscience and how when you practice positivity or gratitude, it sparks up the hypothalamus in your brain. And you can ask what the hypothalamus does. And very briefly, it's the part of your brain that controls your mood, your stress hormones, and it sends a lot of signals out to your brain. Well, when you practice gratitude, what you're doing is you're triggering the pleasure centers of your brain. Well, gratitude is the same thing as positivity, okay? That it's got the same component to it. Well, the thing about when you hear music that you like, or it's sparking up some fun memories, and this is what creating your badass soundtrack is all about, it helps to improve your mood. And when your mood improves, it decreases the stress levels, decreases the stress hormones, it increases your positivity, your energy, and your productivity. So I wanted to invite you, just take this survey for no other reason than for the music discovery. I guarantee, yes, it will take you a little bit of time to do it. It's not a quick survey. It's not one of those fast things. He's not asking you to do this. I am just encouraging you to do this, because I can promise you that the songs that you'll hear, you may not have heard in a really long time, but it'll improve your mood. You're like, oh my God. So any of you who have been following me and would like to start creating your badass soundtrack, even though maybe you haven't been to my class and learned the who, what, where, why, and the how, this is going to be a good starter for you. Because I would really encourage you, it's like when you find songs that you really love, that when you check the box and you say, that's a great song, write that one down. Keep a list running, because we'll have more of this on these Throwback Thursdays on how to create your badass soundtrack. So I'm going to put the link. In fact, I have it clipped right here. It's just a clip from him, and I'm going to put it in the comment right now, I think, if I can do this right. Sorry. No, I didn't even copy that. So, all right. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it in here. Hi, Badass Jeannie. Nice to see ya. I see also I've got LaTanya, And Alan, thanks for joining me, everybody, on today. So there, I just put the link into the comments here. So if you click the survey, yes, it's going to take you a little bit of time. They're not asking for any other information than your email. Of course, you're going to get subscribed to his list. You can unsubscribe at any time. But the purpose is, I want you to listen to these tunes, these music samples. They're just brief samples of a song. And then it's very empowering. I got to tell you, it's very empowering for you to make a choice. If this is a great song, a good song, an okay song, I'm tired of this song, or it's not a good song. Very empowering and a lot of fun. And the music discovery was a blast. And I wanted to thank John Sebastian for allowing me to share about this music survey, because it really kind of took care of a lot of the things that I would be wanting to encourage you or telling you need to do. It's fun. You will enjoy it. I promise you. So I would say save the link, maybe email it to yourself or whatever it is that you've got to do if you don't have time right now. But do it over the weekend. Spend a little time sampling some music. And when you're done with the survey, watch how your mood has improved, how you feel better, how suddenly you're singing a new tune. Okay, so that's my Throwback Thursday. You've got the link in the comments right now. Hi, Chris. Thank you for joining me. This is going to get posted on all of my social media channels along with the link. So don't be afraid. I'm going to provide it for you wherever you find this video. You guys have a great Thursday. Tomorrow is Fun Friday. And yesterday I teased that the buttons that I ordered are going to arrive, and they do look just like my logo, and they did come. They came, but I'm going to share them tomorrow because I'm going to a little networking event in the morning, and those are going to be the first people who are going to get some buttons from me. So if you're going to the Neighbors Monthly Mixer in Wildemar tomorrow morning, look for me. Tell me you saw this video and that you want a button. And if you want a button and you don't live near me, send me a private message, and I'll tell you how to get one. All right. So thank you for joining me for Throwback Thursday. Take the survey. I promise you, you will enjoy it immensely. It's a fun music survey. Yes, it'll take you a little while, but it's going to reintroduce you to probably 100 songs, and probably half of them you haven't heard in a very long time. And it's going to improve your mood, and it's going to be empowering to just make that decision and to choose what kind of song that is to you. And everyone's going to be different. That's why I always say it's like my badass soundtrack is not going to be your badass soundtrack. There's songs that I attach to my happy memories in my past. And so this is a good way for you to discover new music, or old music, actually. So have fun and let me know what you think once you've taken the survey. Remember, everybody, I am Kelly Orchard. I'm a speaker, author, badass coach for business and confidence and positivity. And I'm also a licensed psychotherapist. So now I'm going to go be a therapist for the rest of the day. And then tomorrow I get to have a little fun and do some networking. Plus I'm going to go see my dad for Father's Day. Have a great day. Remember to be bold, be brave, be confident, be badass.